Amber, you do the welcome, okay? Can you do the
Okay.
welcome? I'll tell you 1 second. All right. We are live. So welcome back. Amber, you want to jump in on this one?
Yeah, hello everybody and welcome back to our 5th annual Big Give. We are so excited. We have a few special guests and one especially handsome one joining us. But just to remind everybody, our theme for this year is Do 15Q. It doesn't come with a manual. It comes with a family that never gives up. And as soon as I knew what our theme was going to be, I'm like, I know exactly who I want to reach out to. I have had the pleasure of actually talking to Sinead, and her Kyle is here with us today. But her other son, hi Kyle, her other son Rory. Oh my gosh, whenever it's you can even ask my family, whenever I talk about Rory, they're like, Mom, he's not your son. And he's just so lovely to talk to. He is very active in our Sib Shops program. So I thought, you know what, just knowing your story and knowing your family. And I do have a little soft place in my heart for Ireland because my father-in-law lives there. So Sinead and Kyle, as a side note, sorry, dog barking.
Real life, real life.
He's jumping up his head.
Yeah, so they are so anyway, sorry, I'll get the dog out in a second. Sinead, can you just start by telling us a little bit about what you have done in terms of advocacy?
Of course, yeah. So I suppose I look at my dog is starting now because he heard
Mine
your
is
dog.
too.
Oh my goodness,
Mine just
Shane,
started
take him
too.
out. We're creating a dog. We'll get a Duke 15 dog T-shirt going, will we?
Oh, we
Yeah,
should.
that's a
I
good
like
one.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But anyway, basically in Ireland, I know it's different everywhere, but in Ireland, I suppose it's hard to find services and it's hard to get. We're really good in Ireland for providing things like equipment and chairs, and I think you're really good in the States of providing therapy more than us. We get the therapy, but it's hard to get it. But in Ireland, anyway, it's they give a lot of funding for certain things and very little funding for other things.
Right.
So 20 years ago, I was working in the school that Cahill just happens to be in now, which I didn't think I was going to have my own little special boy that was going to be attending the school. I never thought when I left that job that I'd be going back there again, even though I loved it. But I never had that. I never realized as a parent the impact that people looking after him all day would have. So I suppose I have a special place for it. So I went back, and the people that I worked with now years ago are now looking after him, which is good. So I can go back and threaten them if something goes wrong. And they know to look after him.
That's
But
right.
anyway, so yeah, so I'm on the Parents Association in the school, kind of running the committee, and we've set up lots of little fundraisers over the years because the money wasn't there. School was beautifully built. When I worked there, it was a brand new build in 1999, and I worked there for about 3 years. And at that stage, we realised there was no sensory room. At the time, it was for physical disabilities, and it was just everything was down the line. There was nowhere for the likes of Cahill to go, if you know what I mean. He didn't fit into any of the criteria for just physical or just intellectual or whatever. So over here, there was there's kind of schools for really severe intellectual disabilities. Then the autism side was only coming into play where they were setting up units over here for autistic units. But Cahill didn't fit into the autistic side, and he didn't fit into the really badly intellectual side when he started school as well. He was kind of mild to moderate when he started school. So anyway, he ended up in the school he's in, which is kind of for everybody with rare genetic disorders, with cerebral palsy, some of them are walking and talking and doing their leaving cert. Some of them have very severe intellectual disabilities as well. Wow. So Cahill kind of fitted into the middle of it all inside there, and the school has multiplied and multiplied. There's 70 kids in his school. So there's 70 kids, but there's also 3 special needs assistants in his classroom and a teacher. And some days they get 4 people in the classroom with the teacher. So, and there's 5 kids.
Wow.
Sinead, this is so many moving pieces. Like how involved are you, or how much do you feel like you need to jump in if something arises that you're like, oh, this isn't, I know it's probably a very fine line, but do you find yourself having to jump in quite often now? And
Yeah, well, I just find with Cahill, I think that sometimes I think they feel it's all an awful lot of it is like health and safety, and we better not take him out of the chair because if we falls, they'll be
oh,
suing us. So we don't have an area in the school that is suitable for Cahill. So it took me years to build. We've fundraised and built 3 times for Cahill in our house. We now
Wow.
have a playground surface outside his bedroom. We have a bedroom that is I don't know, what do you go in feet or meters or whatever, but he has a
Yeah.
huge bed. Now for walking, just for walking up and down, and he doesn't fall, whereas he looks drunk when he's out of his chair. So he looks like he's falling because he's on so many epilepsy meds now.
Right.
His balance is really bad, and even when his seizures are good, his balance is still bad because he's still medicated a lot. And I'm not sure what other reasons, but he was always wobbly on his feet. And so basically there was every excuse under the sun to not take him out of the chair because they were nervous. And naturally, if they're nervous and he falls, I've signed waivers, I've argued with everything, I've went to barristers, I've done it the nice way and I've done it the really hard way, and I've stayed friends with everyone. That's the main thing. Try to stay friendly with everybody.
See, that's a really good point, and it's sometimes hard to do, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you need that connection to
you
these
need them
people
to look
caring.
after your child.
Yes.
At the end of the day, everybody says to me, oh, it's the people that shout the loudest and all that over here. I don't know if it's the same around the world, but over here sometimes it is the ones that shout the loudest, but I try and give them a lovely big Christmas present, and I try and send a thank you card when it goes right, and I try and just to make sure that everyone is gracious about it because they're trying to do their jobs, and at the end of the day they all want the right thing for Cahill. It's just trying to pull everyone together. That's all. And it's for Cahill. I'm doing it, and I'm biting my tongue so many times to say, please just do it. I've cried about his walking. Like that's his main thing. So now we've built onto we go to fundraise 22,000 as a group, and we built a sensory room.
Wow.
The sensory room is built, and now the sensory room is a bit small for his walking, they're saying now. So now we're doing
how so now he's pretty tall, and he's 15, right?
He's 12.
Oh, he's 12. Oh my gosh.
Cahill is 5'5" and he's 12.
Okay. Sinead, you look so happy.
And we're shaving Cahill. And we are, aren't we? Aren't you the best? And yeah, he's great fun. He's great. When he's out of that chair, he's dancing with me. He's taller than me.
Oh, you guys send us some videos of that because I think
he's great. I must send you. We were doing it last night, myself, Rory, and Cahill, and we put on his music. His Alexa goes on in his bedroom, and this guy he would dance for Ireland. So all he needs is a little pair of clogs, don't you? Irish dancing clogs.
Oh, please, send us those.
So but he comes alive when he comes out of the chair. He's like somebody who's depressed in the chair.
Yeah.
What good advice for parents who are just maybe new at having their child in a chair, like what they need to think about. Sinead, I'm curious, what advice would you have for? We know that this could be a tough day for parents of newly diagnosed dupers because they're hungry to see other dupe kids. They want answers. They want, what does our future look like? Yeah. You have clearly taken on this advocacy and said, I'm all in, like whatever I have to do. I know it's hard. I know it's got to be tiring. What's your best advice to a family who's just diagnosed, who's going, that's what I want to do. I want to advocate.
I joined another part of the organization, which was that new centre that I was talking about, and they were everyone was giving out about lack of services and not being able to get a service. But I found, and I was so worn out from making phone calls and writing letters, trying to get a 6-week slot of physio once a year is what we were getting here, or once every 2 years. And that's it, nobody else. So I was getting worn down from it. I was paying privately as well as attending. I was getting nothing, only publicly service. So I was getting both sides. I was trying to pay for stuff and then get them publicly. But my main thing is now is to make the phone calls, to pick up the phone. If they're not psychic, nobody knows what you need, no matter what list you're on. The kids with our conditions aren't straight cut. Even your child will have totally different symptoms of Cahill's condition. Yeah. And Cahill today is jumping around. He had 35 words. The words are gone. We don't have words anymore. He says mom, he says hi. He waves hi.
Yeah.
that he knows what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I know he knows what I'm
Yes.
saying. So I want nobody to talk over my child, and I'll make sure everybody knows that they talk to my child, not over him. So I suppose the main thing is that we can tell people, pick up the phone, do the calls. After that, you've done your bit. You can only do something and you don't have any mommy guilt at night because you've done your bit. And
oh my gosh, I just got the chills.
Me too. And I'm drinking a hot coffee and I still got chills.
But I do get mommy guilt. It's a terror. And when I found out about his condition, the first day I got the diagnosis, I remember going on to Duke 15Q and I Googled for 100 hours that week. I'll never forget it. I sat in front of because we had just opened a new business. We were sitting at home. My husband was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I've got this piece of paper and it says IDIC 15. What does that mean?" Then we were like, they're testing us. We had other children. I was like, how they got it? So you automatically get into a fear mode and nobody knows anything about it here. So I was told my consultant said, Google it. That's what she actually told me. Like that was her advice, was Google it. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So anyway, we ended up, the long and short of it is I felt I had to go to the Boston clinic in Duke 15 in Boston, and I went over to see Ronald T. Burton and the team there, and I got a few tests done. I asked him what tests to do in Ireland first, because obviously it was going to cost us a fortune coming over to get the American healthcare, and it's free over here. So we did that, and so we basically went over and we got loads of advice on diets and things that worked. And I just felt then I was part of a group.
Yeah.
I was part. I wasn't on my own with this. So that's, I suppose, just tell people to reach out for each other. Like we're all here for each other. And in the grand scale of things, if you're not able to answer today, you'll answer tomorrow. And like everybody understands we're all busy, but we should be all there together. We should be one united set of parents. And that's what I'd be hoping.
Well, and Sinead, what are your thoughts on, because I know I hear from parents all the time, like it's so much, it's so many documents to fill out and it's so many calls to make. And I know it's something Nate and I have talked about relentlessly about, we've got to get these resources to parents. When a parent gets tired, and if you've got a parent watching right now, let's say their child's been diagnosed for 6 months and they're like, I'm tired, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm not getting the services. How did you press through that? I mean, obviously he's your reason, but did you take some time and pause? Did you just say, you know what, I'm gonna keep digging my heels in? Because you're in a really good place, I can tell, where you're now talking about this advocacy. What's your advice to them?
Well, I suppose you have to go through the phases of grief nearly. You're grieving for the child that you thought you were going to have. And all of a sudden, you no longer have that child. You have a different child, even though it's the same child, if I'm saying it right. Basically, with Cahill, I felt that, sorry, that's me, my pressing my phone and my button on my watch. I felt at the time that I did so much. First of all, I had to get it out of my system, all the research part in my head. That was how I dealt with it. And then I talked about it a lot with my friends. And then I stopped talking about it because I felt all I'm talking about now is this. This is all that's in my head. And actually, everybody has a bit of a miserable life somewhere. Like nobody has a perfect life. No matter what they have on Instagram, everybody has something.
That's the truth.
All these perfect lives that you're seeing on Instagram aren't real. I'm sorry. So I realized that actually I'm not the only miserable person that's in hospital week in, week out with a sick child. So, and actually they don't all want to hear all the time. So I stopped writing everything on Facebook. I wrote a certain amount, and then I decided, okay, whoever wants to know will contact me and ask me. So I sent a certain amount of really close friends. I realized who all of those close friends were, and I stuck with them, and a few close family members, you know.
I feel like I'm hearing you say like you like drew some personal boundaries for yourself.
Yeah,
like,
I had to.
Yeah. And what I also heard is, you know, you have to walk through the pain and not around it, you know, because it does fluctuate depending on what you have going on medically, you know, like I really appreciate how you brought up when he was first diagnosed and then where you're at now. It is a true journey.
It's a pattern, like, and I adore him more than life himself, but you know, he is who he is. He is who he is now. I've kind of accepted that I'm not going to get a child going to college.
Right.
And I've accepted that he's going to be my baby, probably at home with me forever. and that's my baby. And at the end of the day, I want him here forever.
Yeah.
So I've kind of accepted that now, that I love him so much that I actually don't want him gone anywhere.
Right.
Rory can go off and, Rory's allowed to get married and go off and have children.
Carry on, Rory. Cahill, you are here to stay. Sinead.
So Carl's here to cuddle me, yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much for joining us today. This was just exactly what we needed this morning to really help get our day going. And
Ember, I have to add in.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We had one comment from Facebook. We really want to see him dance. So you have requests to video him.
Okay, I definitely will. Because you see in the chair, everyone says, oh, when they see Carl in the chair, oh, poor Carl. And you see Carl out of the chair, he's a terror. He is a terror. He terrorizes our house.
Look at him, he knows it.
I see a smile happening.
I know.
Down all these toys. He pulls all the toys down and he laughs back at me. He throws them over his head, the ones he doesn't like, and he gets the ball that he does like, and he squeezes that for a minute, and then he goes over his head again. And he's laughing.
I want to see that video too, Sinead.
Because I have to go picking them up.
And I cannot wait until we get to meet in person, and Brendan and Cahill. I think they are going to have the best little time together when we head over to your beautiful country of Ireland.
Oh my gosh.
And just everyone, I suppose, just stay strong and just get your sleep and try and get a bit of break in between and try and, I don't know, like I find it hard to fit in anything outside of Cahill, but we're working and, get your nails done and enjoy them in between.
Yeah.
I feel like we should hire you as a coach. Like I'm encouraged, and I have a neurotypical child, and it was not an easy morning at our house. So I'm imagining I'm inspired.
I've just had so many people contact me in the school saying we just got diagnosed with, let's say, severe autism or whatever, and they have nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
Like we need to talk to each other. We need to keep it going. We're all not on our own. So that's really fair, I suppose.
Sinead, you just said something. I did not mean to interrupt you, but you said something that I know we have just like 30 seconds left. I feel like we're doing a Today show today. I'm like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Let me have to say it. You nailed, if people leave today, don't forget we have our connections groups for this very reason. You can just listen, you can talk, you can share.
And I'd be delighted for anyone to contact me. I don't mind if anyone has any. I'd love to help, and I'd love to meet more of you. I'm hoping to get to a conference sometime.
Well, we hope to see you too. We're going to be talking about the conference later today at 6 o'clock. We're going to be announcing a little bit more about it.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
So Sinead, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We hope that people are encouraged this morning and that they can get there too. And I think one thing has really resonated with me is I want to offer hope to this community. Like there's a lot of oh my gosh, we have this and we have this. But then when I talk to parents individually, they're like you and they say, I love this baby in my life. I love this child. And I want to go back to that picture of hope. So thank you.
They make us the good adults that we end up being. I didn't start off good. I'm hoping I'll end up good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's made us what we are.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And for those who are watching live, we'll be back in a few minutes with our board chair. That'll be fun, right? So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.